Hello and welcome. So what's all this I've been hearing about ChatGPT? What can ChatGPT do for me? Can it actually make my job easier? Can it actually make my job go away? And what's this you're talking about with generating images from AI? Well, hello, my name is Steve Howard. I'm a Microsoft technical trainer. And in the next little while, I plan to take you through these steps, these questions, explore this a little bit with you, and hopefully demystify it for you and also show you how it can be very useful and very powerful in your jobs every day. Now, before we get started, I need to point out to you this little part over here where it does say Microsoft Technical Trainer. I am required to tell you that I am a full-time employee at Microsoft, and I have been for about 17 years now. But everything that I do today is going to be mine. This is Steve Howard talking to you. That means that nothing that I say should be taken as an official Microsoft position. This is me talking to you about how you can use ChatGPT and also DALL-E in the creation of text or generation of text and in the generation of images. So in this, I am not going to spend a lot of time on philosophy. We're not going to go back to history. We're going to jump right into the topic at hand. So what is generative AI? This will be the first thing that we will cover today. We'll talk a little bit about ChatGPT and Bing Chat, and then we're going to move into image creation using DALL-E and also Bing Create. Now, I'll talk a little bit about the OpenAI versions of ChatGPT and DALL-E, but we won't spend much time with that. What I will spend the time on is what is free and open and available to you in Bing Chat and in Bing Create, which will use these things. Then we're going to go into how can I use Bing Chat, and I will give you a few ideas there and things that I do with it. And then we'll look at how I can create images in Bing Create. And this is something that really is useful for me in my job because I'm not an artistic person, but I love to be able to produce beautiful art for my job for things such as PowerPoint slides. When you look at the PowerPoint slide here, yes, I created those images using AI. And we'll move into that and we'll do that same thing. So a question that comes up very early is, what is generative AI anyway? I've heard about AI for a long time, but what makes it generative? Generative AI is actually a type of artificial intelligence technology that can produce various types of content, including text, imagery, audio, and synthetic data. So for example, generative AI can create new music based on a genre or style. That's not publicly available to you just yet. That is coming, so be patient. AI can create realistic images based on a description or a sketch. Some of the most famous generative AI systems that we have are the ones you've been hearing about, ChatGPT and DALL-E. They were opened by AI, or they were created by OpenAI. OpenAI runs on Microsoft's platform, and it will be expanding in the future. So in the future, you will see it in your Office 365. When you have the premium versions of that, you'll have Copilot available in that as well. But now we're going to look just at what is going to be publicly available and what is publicly available to you. But when we say generative, we're talking about we are creating something that has not existed before. So this sounds a little bit mysterious to some people. So wait a minute. You can generate code for me? Yes, I can. I mean, the AI can. It can generate images for me? Yes, it can. So how is it able to do that? And how are you keeping this thing on the leash? I mean, wouldn't that be kind of scary if we had kind of a Skynet scenario take place? Well, one of the first things about AI is, in fact, it does not think, it does not feel, it does not desire anything. AI is an automated process. It is usually based on machine learning. It also can have rules-based applications, which just is, if we boil it down, probabilistic analysis. With generative, it is basically making a prediction of words and a sequence of words that will go together to best form the the sentence that you want it to form, the paragraph that you want it to form, or if it is imagery, it's going to find a number of images. Now, when we're doing this, this is a process of learning. So it will use this for training or for learning from a large set of images, and it will analyze patterns out of that we recognize as humans as being a human face, a hand, or other things that we will describe. So this becomes quite complex, but what's going on behind the scenes is not thought. It does not see an image the way that we see it. It does not understand text the way that we understand it. It's simply using probabilistic analysis to put together new content that nobody has ever seen before. So then, why is it important to me? Well, I've told you one thing here. These images that you're looking at, they're created by generative AI. Then I'm going to show you how to do that in a little while. I used to have to present at the Professional Association of SQL Server, and I had to create my own slides. And I looked at my slides, and my slides were everything they told me not to have. It was boring. It was a bunch of bullets and text and other things like that. Why did I do that? Because I do not have the visual artistic ability to be able to create anything more beautiful than that. As much as I wanted to, I just couldn't do it. There's also times now and before when I need to create code, but I just need template code. I just need a starting place. And sure, I can do it. It may take me an hour or so, but I'll get it done. But you know what? I can ask the question here, and our generative AI has done the analysis on large amounts of code. And if I ask the question right, I'm going to get back code that will give me the starting place. So now I've got a large article that I need to read, and I need to get a summary on it. Is there a simpler way to do that? Many times the answer is yes. Many times I can have the AI summarize this for me. This then becomes a very powerful tool. And so the question comes up, are they going to need somebody at my job in the future? And my answer is, of course, I don't know what the future is going to be. And I think all of our jobs are going to change as our tools change. But I see this as a tool. And if you think about a mathematician knows how to do arithmetic, but do you expect that a mathematician is adding up columns of numbers as a part of their everyday work? No, that's drudge work. That's something we can do with a calculator or with a little bit of code and other things like this. So a mathematician is not very valuable if all they're doing is adding up a column of numbers. We need their expertise focused on new cutting edge areas of mathematics. That's where their value comes in. So if you are an educator, is your time best spent creating test questions and worrying about your grammar and such things as that? Or would it be better focused on more creative approaches, on issues that you actually have in your classroom with students and things such as this? Where are you most valuable? Well, I don't know the answers with all of these things, but you will know that in your applications. So what we want to do with generative AI is allow you to be more creative, take more creative approaches, spend your time on those creative approaches, and those areas of high value needs, such as focus on certain students. So in order to do that, we need to get the drudge work out of the way for you. This is how I envision that generative AI is going to be most useful to you. So minimize drudgery and allow you to focus on high value activity. Okay, a little bit of a funny thing. I may have to adjust my position a little bit as we go through. But everything that I'm doing here, I will do in an approach that I call nothing up my sleeve. So you watch me do it. And you can do the same thing the same way that I did. There's no hidden tricks. But when we're dealing with AI and I'm presenting it, I have to be comfortable with what I call a fly by the seat of my pants approach, which means I know kind of what I'm going to do. I don't know what the results are going to be. I'm going to react to it as I see it, and we're going to look at it together. So the first of the tools that I want to look at with you is Bing Chat. Okay, so Bing Chat is built on ChatGPT. Now, if we look back over here, I'm just going to open up a browser And you'll see, yes, I do use Edge. I'm also going to use Bing in pretty much any searches that I do. I found that to be very useful tools for the things that I'm going to do. But we've heard, first of all, about ChatGPT and OpenAI. And yeah, you can go there. If I just go to OpenAI, I do have to spell it right, openai.com/chat. And this is probably going to redirect me a little bit. Nope, it's going to give me a 404. So let's do chat. There we go. I have to go chat.openai/chat. You know what? When I'm giving classes, I do that exact same thing because I'm not perfect. And if you catch me in a typo in the middle of a class, that just means that you're paying attention. And in this, you have seen things, you've heard things like, write me a poem to be used on a birthday card for my wife. Okay, and I have no idea what it's going to write to me, but here we go. My dearest wife, my love for you grows stronger with each passing year. On this special day, I want to renew and I'm not going to read the whole thing, but you can see what it's done there. Now, how is it able to do that? Does it actually understand poetry? Not really, not the way that we understand poetry. This is a large language model, so it has learned patterns within our language that we call poetry. It's learned such patterns that we will use for rhyme and for meter and for other things such as this. And based on that, it's probabilistic analysis and it produces this. So if I describe it like that, it's not particularly romantic, but that in essence is what artificial intelligence does. Now, flying by the seat of my pants, I have not rehearsed this, so write that poem in Korean. My wife is Korean, and let's see what we've got. And you can see there that, in fact, it's going to translate it into Korean. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time reading that. I will say the very first line, "내 사랑하는 아내요." It just means my beloved wife. And so we're off to a good start if I'm writing something to my wife here. So this is where you would go with Chat GPT, the OpenAI version. And we like for you to be able to use that as well. There will be a limited amount of credit that you can have for free with this. You do have to sign up, and there's a limited number of conversations and requests that you can make with this. So what we have is we also have Bing Chat. So with this, I'm going to go to bing.com/chat. Now with this, you're going to see you have a much larger amount of credit that you can use with it. Now we say Chat GPT, Bing Chat. So I want to clarify something. Bing Chat is built on Chat GPT. That's what's behind it, but it is much more than just ChatGPT. We can use this as a search engine, and in the results that will come back, it will give us links. Now, ChatGPT will not do that for you. So you have to worry a lot more about, now, where did you get that? Because that doesn't sound right to me. Whereas with Bing, it's going to show you where it got it. So now you can go and read it for yourself. So let's start off, and you'll see here I've got more creative, more balanced, or more precise. Each of these options are available to me. Now, if I put it on more precise, it's going to behave very much like a search engine. So let's just say, what is Bing Chat? That's a good question to ask it, since that's what we're learning right now. And if I go to more precise, it's going to go back and give me a very specific answer. And usually I should get links with this too. So let's just choose one of the suggested questions it has there, is what can Bing Chat do? And we should get an answer here. Bing Chat can help you find information, questions, and provide suggestions and so on like this. So find me a link about Bing Chat. And this here, I'm not trying to read this to you. I'm trying to demo for you what this tool really is. Now, it should bring something back that I should be able to click on and to go to that. Now, one of the big challenges we've had with search engines since the 1990s, when search engines first came out, is that when you see a search engine, what do you get? You normally get 2 blue links and 98 blue ads. And how can you tell the difference between your 2 blue links and your 98 blue ads? But here we're going back and we're saying how to get started with Bing Chat on Microsoft Edge, the new Bing, and these are all active links that we've got. Now, one of the fun things that I have demoing AI is that the models continue to learn. Learning is not a cognitive process like we have. Learning or training with this is a re-evaluation, meaning that things like weightings will change so that we can take in new or consider new possibilities. There is no sentience in this process. It cannot really do the kinds of things that we do. So that's all it means, is that it's using more data, and so that now it can take that into account and hopefully give us a wider variety of answers. I'm going to refresh here because most of the time I don't use this on precise. Most of the time I will actually use this on creative. So let's go back to chat. And some of the reasons why are, I need to ask for things like a summary. So let's go over here and let's just search for Wikipedia and Bing. This will be a good thing for us to look at. And if I open this up, pretty much any article on Wikipedia, that's a lot of reading. Okay, so if I just want to get to the essence of it, and let's pretend that this is not well written and well structured, I can go back over here into my Bing chat and I could say such things as summarize the content at this URL. Paste that in, and the creative will allow it a little more temperature and toward the creative, which means it can be a little more free in the text that it brings back. Now, in this, that just means that it allows it to be able to evaluate different ways of expressing things. So it is not just giving you back or regurgitating what is on that exact page for you. Okay, so Microsoft Bing is a web search engine. Okay, so this should be a pretty fair summary of the contents of that particular page. Okay, now if you're a teacher or an educator and you have content that you need to write a test question on, then maybe a good thing that you might like to do with this is give me three multiple choice questions. And I'm sorry, sometimes it's my keyboard's fault, and sometimes it's my fault. Three multiple choice questions to test my understanding of the content on this page. And I'm going to put that same URL in there. And I expect, now I'll tell you, I don't know for sure if it's going to give me the answers here or not, but it does remember the context of the conversation. So I can ask follow-up questions in the conversation. And once I move on to a new conversation, it will not remember that anymore. Okay, so this is the questions that it brings back. Now, since this particular article is not a how-to article or anything like that, this next question may not work quite as well. But a lot of times you look at a test questions like that and you say, that's really just trivia. I want a little deeper level of understanding. So let's say, give me three multiple choice questions that ask me to perform a task using the content in this URL. And let's post in that same one. Now, I don't know what I can do with that content back there, but maybe we can get some good suggestions on this. Okay, so this is actually pretty good. Now, all of this is done by AI. Now, what we expect is that this is going to give you good questions, grammatically correct, and we hope that they are valid. But we expect also that you are still the subject matter expert on this. And so here's where it becomes a tool. We want this to remove the drudge work out of it for you. It's still up to you to validate that these are good answers. Okay, so this is a little bit about how you may use it. Now, in fact, I do use Bing Chat to create review questions in some of the content that I do with students. And I'll follow a process very similar to this. And then I'll use other tools because all of the work that I do is virtual. So we use other virtual tools so that students can interact with us, give us answers, and this allows me to see, do they understand what I've been talking about? Do I need to spend a little more time here? And of course, it also helps to keep them involved. So this then is Bing Chat, and in fact, that is how I would use Bing Chat to do such tasks as to generate test questions. Now, once again, why do I put something like a wizard up there? Well, a wizard is kind of one of those mysterious things. And, we don't really attach a whole lot of supernatural meaning to it when we see that. It's just a way for me to tell a story with my slides. And that becomes really important to me. And when I need to tell that story pictographically, like maybe this, then I need a little different tool. So we looked at Bing Chat. So what is the other tool that I can use? Well, let me shift so you can read that a little bit better. I'm going to use Bing Create. Now, what Bing Create will allow us to do is to generate images from text prompts. They can be real or imagined images. You can do photo or artistic styles. And you use this anytime that you need an image. So let's take a look at some of the images there. Maybe you need a sunrise in Cancun. Maybe you need to generate a picture that it's something that your granddaughter reminds you of, but you can't put a picture of your granddaughter on there because it brings up privacy questions and a lot of other things. So how about if we can generate that picture from somebody that doesn't really exist? Okay. What if I need a mouse smoking a pipe in steampunk style? Or if I'm just curious, what would the cross between an orangutan and a poodle look like? Well, those are prompts that will generate the kinds of images that you see there. And so I'm going to demo this, and we're going to look a little bit at some of these things. Now, these are some more of the types of images that I've done. So for example, I want a picture of Paulsbo, Washington, taken from the water that fades from winter in the left through autumn in the center to summer on the right. That's that image that I've got right there. And it did that just because I could describe it well enough. Or if I'm silly and I want to know what would a cross between a penguin and a husky look like, or show me three hyenas reading a newspaper in the style of Leonardo da Vinci, or how about a Rembrandt of a cabin in the woods with Snoqualmie Falls in the background? Well, how does it know all of these things? Well, because in the training that has been done, images that contain these things are all examined. So it recognizes the mathematical patterns in what we call pictures and can generate using AI processes such images. So if I'm going to do this, I'm going to go back over here. And one of the first things is, is there an OpenAI version of this that I can go to? There is. That's labs.openai.com. And with this, when you go to, I must have typed something wrong. This will take you to the DALL-E model there, and you'll see that you can generate your images from this. This also gives you the ability to upload images and edit them if you want to do that. Now, in all of these things, there is ethics and concerns about ethics that go into this. So you can imagine what might happen if we would allow you to say any political figures, and I'm not going to give a political figure's name, because what are people with their imagination going to do with that? Okay, we don't want that used for their political snark. We don't want it used for things that may be damaging to children or to other people. And so you will find sometimes that you will have a prompt blocked, and that will be a little more strict with Bing Create than what it will be here as well. But this will be the OpenAI, but where I want to spend my time, let's go over here in the same window where I had this, and let's go to bing.com/create this time. Now you'll see I have kind of a strange mind, and so I do come up with things like, what would a cross between an orangutan or a poodle look like, or what would a cross between a praying mantis and a crocodile look like? So a lot of things when I look at my creations over here are going to include things such as that. And if I go through my history, you'll see some of the images that I got whenever I was trying to create this particular presentation. But I said that I have no artistic ability. So let me actually start off here. I'm going to create this blank presentation, PowerPoint presentation over here. Let's see if I can get this all onto my screen so that you can see it. Okay, there we go. And I want to change my layout to title and content. Okay, that's enough. And I need a demo slide. Okay, so this is what I'm going to be doing. I'll start off and title this as a demo. Well, first of all, I probably shouldn't have closed Bing Chat because one particular task that I have to do and have to demo to students is to call machine learning processes that are stored in a SQL database. Okay, don't worry about how I would do that. That's for me. You've got a different background, that's fine, but I need to use something for a demo. And what can I use for a demo? Something that comes out of my background. So let's go back to bing.com/chat first. And I want to prompt it to give me a SQL statement that can call predict on a model stored in a table named models. Okay, now I just want template code here. Let's not worry too much about that. I just need it to be in SQL. And can I write this? Absolutely. How long would it take me? A few minutes. And actually, I just don't want to spend that few minutes here. So let's see what Bing can generate for me here. There we go. We're going to start in with T-SQL code there. And this is the part that I actually want. I just want that select statement right there. Okay, so I'm going to copy this out. The rest of it, because I'm just creating a demo slide. I'm not creating a lot of details in this. And why did it go back over to that side? I don't know, but it did. So let's maximize this again. I'm going to start off by pasting that in. Okay, there it is. That's about as boring as my normal demo slides. And you can see that designer's already trying to give me a few ideas, but I need my slide to tell a story. And I don't want to have to explain the story when it comes up. So let's go back over here. First of all, predict is the name of, predict is just the name of a process, and it's also the name of a function. But when we say something like predict, here's where we start to think about wizardry, and the unpredictable things. So let's do a wizard predicting in Tolkien style. And why do I say Tolkien style? Because that style has kind of become what we associate with wizards in our modern society. So let's just see what it will bring up here. Now, of course, it's not going to be an actual Tolkien wizard out there or anything like that. So I got a choice of 4. Now, sometimes I don't like any of them. And so if I don't like any of them, what I would do is I would just submit it again, have it do it all again. But and it'll give me 4 more images. And no, these are not out on the internet anywhere. You will see the little Bing emblem in the lower left, and Microsoft does not claim ownership over any of these images. It will block things that it thinks are dangerous or against use, or against terms of use, but it won't. It won't do other things. You know what? He's got too many fingers on his left hand. I don't think I will use that one. Is there another one that I can use? Well, for the purposes of what I'm doing now, let's just take this one and let's say that we are happy with that particular image. Now, don't get too upset if you see something in the image that you wish wasn't in there, because I'm actually not paying that much attention to it. The purpose of this is a demo, and I already told you I'm flying by the seat of my pants here. If I'm doing this professionally and thinking about my audience here, I may go with a different image because I may spot something in this particular image that I don't like, and I think the audience may have a problem with. But for now, I'm just grabbing this because that's not the point of what I'm doing here. But a wizard's fine, but I'm supposed to be teaching about things like data engineering, data science, and AI, machine learning, and things such as this. So I need to bring this forward into the modern world. So what could I do? A data scientist doing analytics in front of computer monitors. I spell it right. With much data to be analyzed on the monitors. And you'll see I actually do have a limit of how many boosts I get. You can ask for images without boosts, but it just takes a little longer. But how many do I get? Right now I get 100 a day. And as much as I love this technology, as much as I use it, I've never gotten anywhere close to 100 uses in a day. Okay, so every time I do this, I get different sets of answers, different sets of images to choose from. Sometimes I get ladies, sometimes I get men, sometimes I get people who all look like they're from Europe, sometimes I don't. And this is what I got. So in the interest of time, I'm just going to choose one here. This looks like a data scientist. He doesn't look quite as frustrated as I might be. I'll copy that image. That looks like a lot of data that he's working with back there. Now let's go to my presentation I'm building. I'm just going to put this over here into this. And now here's where the last part of this comes in. You see, in PowerPoint, we have AI that's already built in, at least in Office 365 versions of this. And so I want to go to the design view. When I go to the design view, I've got designer over here that I can toggle in and out. And what I will normally do is look for ideas that are going to work right. Now, one funny thing, you notice that I've put myself into the image here. So one funny thing that I've had to do thinking about presenting and thinking about projecting myself or showing my face as I'm presenting like this, I had to design my slides thinking about where am I going to sit? Can I move back and forth? And am I covering an important part of my slide? Okay, if that's the only thing I have to think about, then I've taken most of the work out of this. And if I don't like this one, I can move to another one. It's given me some very good results in this. And normally I like this style right here. I like for the graphics to take up my whole slide. Let's put the other things in there. But that's just my personal preference. When I look at this, oh, I really like the way that it put the wizard in the middle, because now we do have kind of that mysterious work just coming right from the data scientist's hand as he's working on a prediction from his model there. Okay, or at least a model that will make legitimate or good and useful predictions. So that's a little about how I would use that in my world. Now, your world is a little bit different from my world. I understand that. And so what I'm hoping that we will get from this is that you can see the AI that is there. You can find where it is useful in your world and use it to minimize drudgery. I'll tell you, I've begun to use it. I figure my job is going to change a lot over the next few years. So when I'm looking at that, it should not take me by surprise. I want to be on the front edge of the wave. I want to ride the wave and not crash into the wave. So yes, I want to learn to use the AI to minimize the drudgery. Now, do I always know when I start out? No. I play a lot. You know how kids learn by playing? Well, I learn by playing too. And you probably do that too. So yes, go to bing.com/create, describe the most outrageous scenes that you can think of and see how it does. I mean, a mouse smoking a pipe in steampunk style, that was the best I could do. Maybe you can do something better. You want to minimize your wasted time, okay? Because you're a valuable resource. So use the AI as a tool to do what the AI does well. Create with it and create from your mind. You have your images, you have the things that you've thought of. Work with the AI to see what other things may be created from it and allow you to focus on the high value things. Are you a researcher? Then you need to be focusing on the areas of research and not the things like writing code. Are you a teacher? Then you need to be focusing on the high value things of the needs of the students in your classroom and not on things like, did I make a grammatical error on a question? What we want you to do is to go from looking like this guy up here, and yes, that is AI generated. I wanted to describe somebody who is frustrated. Look, somebody who's coding who is frustrated. And if I still had hair, I would look like that sometimes. This is a teacher, and I think I asked the teacher, I forgot what style I actually asked it, but we want you to go from this to a lot more of your time being like this. We think we have a great set of tools to do that. I'm presenting it to you, hoping that you can find a use for these. And I have to present them to you in order to be able to scale well, because I will not have all the ideas. I will not have all the good ideas. The only way that we can come up with good ideas for your work application is when you get your hands on tools like this and learn to use them where you work. I'm presenting that to you in the hopes that you're able to do that. Again, my name is Steve Howard. I'm a Microsoft technical trainer, and I hope that you have found this useful. Goodbye.